All right, good Friday evening, Mid-Michigan. Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick with your Friday evening forecast update. We've got some snow moving across the state tonight, not terribly heavy, certainly not to the level that we saw going back into Wednesday. Before we get started on our stream, big shout out to Bresky Siding and Building Repair. They are our new sponsor for our live stream tonight. We've done a really good job here building our audience as we've gone through the last several weeks, and thank you to all of you for doing that with us. And the weather has also, of course, had something to do with that, but we appreciate you checking in. Nonetheless, your Sky Tracker tonight shows that we've got a cold front coming along with some of those snow showers, and that cold front is not only going to lead to the snow showers that we have tonight, but also the potential, of course, for some pretty chilly temperatures as we head into the weekend. And that is something we'll be watching for as well. So here is your hour by hour as we go through tonight. It is really not going to be a long duration snowfall. This is only going to last for a couple of hours, I would say at most, in any one location. And so as we go towards midnight, you'll see a little bit more snow develop as we head towards tomorrow morning, likely moving over the thumb, but then already by 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, it is already starting to move out. And notice our temperatures are dropping off pretty fast as well. We are in the single digits and also the low teens by the time tomorrow morning comes around. And we really don't recover from there. Once our temperatures drop tonight and drop through the morning, they really don't improve all that much as we go through the day Saturday. And once we get rid of the snow in the morning, it seems like we're pretty much done for the rest of the day outside of anything that is super isolated. We'll get some lake effect that develops, but it doesn't seem like that is going to be fairly consistent. That lake effect will likely come in waves as we head through Sunday and also maybe potentially into Monday as well. But the coverage here, much greater sometimes out over Lake Huron, much greater over Lake Michigan, and really just giving us a glancing blow here in the TV5 viewing area. But you'll also notice some of those temperatures Saturday night. This is 11:30 here. We've got temps that are pretty close to zero or just a little bit above. And so do think we're looking at some of the coldest temperatures of the week, a little lake effect early Sunday, and then everything kind of slows down a bit going into Sunday night and also into early next week. So really, how much snow are we talking this time around? Not a ton. I would say, let me double check my graphic here. I forgot I changed the timestamp on this, so let's just go back to, I was looking at something else. So let's say the next 72 hours here. Let's put that back on, get that pulled up. And this is how much snow we're talking. Really not much, just through 8 o'clock Saturday morning, maybe about a ½ inch to an inch in some areas. Maybe a little bit more if we can get some lake effects going in the thumb off of Saginaw Bay, maybe around an inch, inch and a half there. I still think that might be a little bit too much for tonight. But it just goes to show that we're not talking about anything terribly significant here. Now, with temperatures the way they are, we've seen that at least a couple of times this week, that it really doesn't take much to get new snow out on the roads. It doesn't take much to quickly recoat things. In downtown Saginaw, things look okay. But if we were to take a look at downtown Flint, I'll pull up that camera really quick. Our downtown Flint camera, I don't know if it still shows it, but it did have some fresh tire tracks in some of the snow earlier this evening. You can still kind of see it. It's not as pronounced as it was earlier this evening, but it just goes to show even a little bit here can slicken things up again. And so I think that is the main concern for tonight. Now, tomorrow, we don't really get all that warm. A pretty big temperature drop as we head through tomorrow. You'll notice our average high right around 35. We're not even close to that tomorrow. Seems like we're right around the teens, maybe the upper teens if we're lucky. But that's going to be a pretty big change. And in addition to that, we've also got a gusty wind that is probably going to be near 30 miles per hour tomorrow, with the wind gusts, I think, sustained about 10 to 20. But you're already talking about wind chills tomorrow morning that could be pretty close to, if not below zero. And this is 7 o'clock in the morning. We head towards lunchtime. Really hasn't changed all that much. Really doesn't change into the afternoon. and really doesn't change for the better in the evening. It actually gets a lot worse. It's where we could be looking at some wind chills tomorrow night between 0 to 10 below for a while. And I think it's very possible if we go towards Sunday morning that there could be a few places that maybe drop to as much as 10 to 15 degrees below zero with the wind chills. So it is very possible, I think, this weekend we might come up just short, but I wouldn't say it's off the table, that we could potentially get our first cold weather advisory of the year. So we used to have wind chill advisories. Now it's just all in one category. It is cold weather advisories. And so could we have the first one of the season? I wouldn't say it's completely off the table, but also wouldn't be shocked if we get right up to the criteria and we fall just short. So we'll see what happens with that. So here's your weekend breakdown in a little bit more detail. A little small chance for snow both days going into the weekend. Really doesn't seem like it's going to be that big of a deal. Typical lake effect pattern for us, where you'll occasionally get a snow shower from time to time, but it's not something that's going to be constantly coming through your neighborhood, unless you're in one of the traditional lake effect belts. If you're in Roscommon County, Ogama County, in certain situations with the wind, you're a little bit more prone to that. But say you're in Bay City, Saginaw, Flint, Midland, Mount Pleasant, Alma, any of those locations, you know that lake effect is not typically a constant thing. So we've got some chances here and there. Excuse me. I think the biggest chance or biggest impact this weekend is just going to be the cold temperatures. You've got a lot of people finishing up that holiday shopping, some celebrating Christmas or any of the holidays early with family. I know I'm doing that this weekend, doing a little traveling myself. So we'll be watching the roads. And of course, for those of you who know me really well over the last decade, I'm not the biggest on wearing warm clothing. So I'll be prepared when we travel this weekend because you never want to be caught without. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of your weekend. And then we go into next week. I'll pull up the 7-day really quick. We've got temperatures that are warming up. We've got a chance to be back above freezing, which over the last several weeks, what a concept, right? We'll actually get back to where we're at least close to average. Tomorrow's temperature is about 15 to 20 degrees below average. Once we get towards next week, we're a bit closer to about average or maybe even a little bit above. And then we're talking about the possibility of rain showers next week on Wednesday and Thursday. And so that'll be interesting to watch. The one, I would say, good thing of being so dry lately is that we are able to probably handle the rain plus the snow melt. It's a lot of water, and thankfully we haven't been terribly waterlogged over the last several months. So things will be soggy, to be sure, but is that going to be a situation where we're looking at a problem? I don't think so yet. Now, if we keep getting these big snows and then we keep melting them, then that's going to be a problem. But I think we're in a position where we can handle some rain next week, plus handle melting at least a little bit of our snowpack. We've got temperatures dropping off back to the freezing mark on Friday. So even though we melt off a little bit Wednesday and Thursday, is it going to be enough for some places, especially those who have 6+ inches on the ground? Is a couple of days above freezing going to be enough to do that? Probably not. You add rain to the mix, gets a little bit tougher to keep the snow around, but I think we'll still have a little bit, at least by next Friday. So that's pretty much all I got tonight. Dare I say, the quiet weather is not as exciting here in the weather department for us. Might be good for you, but it always feels after we have a couple of quiet days after a really active stretch that we kind of say, well, what now? When is the next one? But there's nothing wrong with a quiet weekend, that's for sure. It's just going to be a pretty chilly weekend. So if you have friends or family who are in need, make sure you're keeping tabs on them this weekend. With the cold weather, it's probably not going to be the coldest that we see this winter. We always have that stretch in January or February where it gets pretty cold, but it's still cold enough where you want to check on anyone vulnerable you can, just to make sure that they can get through the weekend. We've got a chance for some light snow Monday. That doesn't seem like it's going to be significant either. But we'll, of course, be watching that one through the weekend as well. All right. Excuse me. Not seeing any questions tonight. Hope you all have a great weekend. Big shout out again to our new sponsor for our 9 o'clock weather chat. That is Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Appreciate them doing that. And hopefully we can keep these crowds going and keep making this live stream better and better. The goal, ultimately, is to get some interviews and things like that to where we're not just doing straight up weather every single night. So on the quiet nights like this, where we can actually talk to people that maybe you want to hear from, that have something to do with the weather, whether it is maybe one of our local superintendents that wants to talk about their snow day process. Maybe it is somebody in the ice fishing business or just an ice fisherman in general who wants to talk about ice conditions the next couple of months. Any ideas you have, would love to hear them. Who do you want to hear from? You're the ones who will be consuming these live streams. We would love to have your feedback on that. If there's anyone that you think would be interesting to hear from, maybe someone from the National Weather Service, maybe someone from the research part of it. Appreciate you, Patrick. Thanks for saying that. Appreciate you being on. Linda, safe travels. Thank you. Driving about 2 hours, so should be a smooth ride. It's pretty much all highway. I'm not too concerned about it, but of course with a little light snow tonight, making sure that everything is good. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great weekend. If I don't see you on the live streams the next couple weeks, hope you have a good holiday too. I know we all get busy this time of year. Hope you have a happy new year. And I will check the comments after the live stream ends, but we'll end it there. Have a great night, and we will see you all next week.